Well, hello again from Tracking the Blood Show for Christ Ministries. Well, the Bucks on the Wall series has now gone to the Skulls on the Wall. uh, People are asking, so I'm going to share. And who doesn't like telling hunting stories, especially when the trophies are your own? Well, so we're going to have to call this, I guess, the Skulls on the Wall. Well, this 8 point was harvested with the bow in Maryland, and he is approximately 15 and a half to 16 and a half inch spread. Uh, and if you remember the buck on the wall that was 19 and a half inch spread, I'll show you him again real quick. There's a reason. I harvested that 8 point in the skull on the wall over there. I harvested him the same evening I saw that real wide 8 point that I shot later in the season. I shot that skull on the wall 8 point, again about 15 and a half, 16 inch spread. Just a nice typical 8 point. The uniqueness about him that it was a very interesting hunt. I watched this deer come a distance across the oak flat, feeding on some of the sparse acorns there, but I was hunting in a stand that I was targeting the black oak. There were two black oaks there, and the acorns were coming down pretty good, and this deer had worked his way over to me, and I was already standing, waiting for him to get in the right broadside position. And once he was, I was fortunate enough to put an arrow through both lungs, right behind the front shoulders. If you were going to draw a dot on a deer target where you'd wanted it, it was right there. I say that because I watched this deer streak across the top of that ridge and fall. My brother texts me, and we're getting down. I told him I'll meet him at the point. He knew where that was, and so I said the deer fell over there. So I went across, and I have blood the whole way, good blood the whole way, and I get over to what we call the point, and I just start over the edge of the slope there, and I expect to see the deer lying there. There's no deer lying here. And I look around, and the blood trail is following. I could see where the deer crashed there, and now I got specks and pin drops, and my brother and I follow this deer down through over these logs, and we're following it just barely. It's fortunate that he's a good tracker, and happened to turn the flashlight out along the bank, and I see eyes, and I see this buck lying there looking at us. I turned the light off quickly. I said, that has to be him. And it was one of those dark nights you couldn't really see your hand in front of your face. And so I told my brother and his buddy that was with us, I said, just grab my shirt tail, follow me up out of here, and I'll come back in the morning. Well, needless to say, I spent a sleepless night because I don't like to lose any deer. And this deer baffled me. I saw the shot. I saw him go down. I could not believe that the deer that was laying there with its head up was my deer, but it had to be. So I was there right at daylight, eased down over there. Side of that bank is pretty steep. I see no deer laying there, so I walk the trail. No deer laying there. I can see out the bank. No deer. This is open timber. I am very discouraged because this deer should be here. Well, I happened to turn to my left and look down the slope about 20 yards from where I see this deer's bed, where I know this deer was laying, um, I notice a large uprooted tree. It has to be there. I happened to walk down, and laying in the cavity of that where that root ball came up was my buck with the broadside arrow right behind the shoulder. I wish I could show you the picture of it. Maybe I'll figure out how to do that. But I could not believe that that deer lived that long. But sometimes they amaze you, and that's why we keep hunting them.